From the book Aging Faithfully by Alice Fryling. While there are many great points from the main chapters, let me read a part from Appendix 2 on one man's perspective on aging faithfully.
What feelings did you have as you anticipated retirement?
I looked forward to the relief of relinquishing many of the responsibilities of my leadership role. I was eager to let go of the budgets, planning, and the need to keep moving the company forward. As much as I liked the opportunity to lead, mentor, and supervise others, I looked forward to letting go of performance appraisals and salary administration. I was eager for more personal freedom with my time, more time to rest, and more time to be with family. Amid the early months of anticipation, I also felt deep sadness. I did not want to lose my long-term professional relationships or the daily connections with office colleagues. I also knew I would be losing some of my identity as a Christian leader and the opportunities to use the gifts God has given me. For 50 years, I had been in positions of leadership in Christian organizations. It was hard to think of life without the recognition and experiences those positions gave. And it was a surprise to me that I did not want to lose my expense account. I had subconsciously found indications of worth from the perks of the job.
How did you respond to the gifts and loses of this new season? What did you celebrate and how did you grieve?
I definitely celebrated the blessedness of not having to be responsible for so much. I celebrated the time to be available to my family when they needed me, rather than when I scheduled them in. I am growing in my appreciation for relationships and learning to be attentive to others outside of any professional connections. My own losses were not so much physical, although I have slowed down a bit. The losses I feel most deeply are the personal and professional losses, and how these my view of myself. These are the parts of retirement I grieve the most. In the years before I retired, I took several 4-day retreats at a friend's home on Lake Michigan. I was alone, with a lot of time to reflect on my vocational years, remember the good and the bad, and begin letting go a little more with each retreat. Those days were very helpful to me, both in grief and in moving forward. As I moved closer to retirement, I asked 4 friends to meet with Alice and me for a clearness committee. This is a Quaker practice of gathering a small group of people to help with discernment. Meeting with our friends gave clarity about how to navigate the timing my retirement, as well as perspectives on the many questions that would follow that decision. Another thing that helped me with both celebrating and grieving was deep personal engagement with Scripture. On one retreat, I spent time in Ezekiel 47 verses 12 and 12. I felt like I went along with Ezekiel as he experienced his vision of the temple. He saw a flowing stream and trees along the bank of the river. Ezekiel also saw stagnant water, but as the water from the temple flowed into the sea, the water there became fresh. God said to the prophet, "Son of man, do you see this?" Ezekiel 47:6. I felt as though God said to me, "Bob, do you see this?" I hoped that my life in retirement would be a river like that. As I read those verses, I knew that whatever I did in retirement, I wanted to be part of the healing streams of water, to no longer feel responsible for planting the trees and organizing the water. Where the river flows, everything will live. Ezekiel 47:9. I hoped, by God's grace, that this would describe my life. Ezekiel's vision continues to speak to me.
How has your retirement and the process of changed your relationship with God?
By God's grace, I am letting go of my need for recognition. I am learning to be content with the life I have now. I try to remember to celebrate with gratitude all the blessings of my life. God has invited me, with a spiritual play on words, to be living in the presence of God in the present moment and to be a present to others. It is quite a transition for me to move from a life of public ministry to helping out with driving my granddaughter to school. I am surprised at the joy that is bringing into my life.